and welcome to the Golden Hour, a content series from us here at the Horizon League. Why the Golden Hour? Well, we won't take up a full hour of your time, but it refers to the point where a student meets the athlete or the earth meets the sky in the horizon. On this episode, we talked to Dan Gliot from Indiana Sports Corp. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, and welcome to the Golden Hour, a content series from us here at the Horizon League. I'm Rachel White. I'm here with
Dan Gliot, Senior Director of Marketing and Communications at Indiana Sports Corp.
We're going to learn a little bit more about Dan, what he does, how he got to where he is, and just a little bit more about what makes Dan Dan on this episode of the Golden Hour. So first, tell us a little bit about your background and your path to your current role at Indiana Sports Corp.
Yeah, so I started off, I was a student athlete. I was a baseball player at Oakland University. That was before they moved into the Horizon League, so I was actually a Summit League student athlete. From there, I actually worked in the athletics department at Oakland. I immediately graduated and worked in the sports information office there. So I worked there for about 5 years. I was a GA and then became full-time in there. So that was when the Oakland transitioned into the Horizon League. So that was really my first opportunity to work with the Horizon League was when we made that transition. And some great people that I got to meet there that used to work at the Horizon League. Bill Benner, Bill Potter, Craig Hamill. That's when I first met Brett Kramer, who has been on this podcast before. And so then from there, I worked at UCLA for 2 years. I worked in their communications office, primarily covering baseball and men's soccer, and then I helped out with men's basketball. Met a ton of great people out there. Really great experience for me. But then really wanted to come back to the Midwest. So this job opened up at the Horizon League for which was, I believe that was Brett Kramer at one point. It was her job here. Mm-hmm. I basically just follow Brett Kramer around. So
it's a good policy, honestly.
It really is. She's great. So I was lucky enough to get the Director of Communications job here, which is really great for me because having worked with so many of the people while I was at Oakland, it really felt like a really good fit for me, and I didn't have to go and meet a lot of new people because I had worked with them already and stuff like that. So that was really great. So was here at the Horizon League, awesome experience, learned a ton, got to meet so many great people from across the league and things like that. We were able, during that time, transition the men's basketball tournament from Detroit here to Indy and really got to create a really great experience for the fans and student athletes here in Indy as well. So that was a lot of fun. And then just about 2 years ago, started off at Sports Corp, and it's been great ever since.
Great. Yeah, we had the pleasure of having Dan for about 5 years in our office, so he's pretty familiar with the inner workings of the Horizon League. But before we had this podcast, tell us a little bit more about your current role with Sports Corp and kind of what you manage over there.
Yeah, so I manage a lot of our communications and public relations at the Sports Corp. So our main mission at Sports Corp is really we bid on and then operate a lot of the large-scale sporting events that come to Indianapolis. And then really our mission is to impact the city through sports. Mm-hmm. So a lot of what I do is promote those things, help with those events. So from a media operations side, from a communication side, and a marketing side, whether that be through ticket sales, promoting the events themselves, promoting the community initiatives around those events. And then a lot of what I do is also internal communications. We are a not-for-profit, so we have a board of directors, and things like that. So really mass communication out to all of our donors and our corporate members, our volunteers. We have one of the best volunteer bases, one of the largest volunteer bases in the state. So a lot of communication with them about opportunities, whether that be for us or for partner events, things like that. So really kind of lead those communication efforts.
Yeah, and obviously here in the Horizon League, we talk a lot about basketball and hosting that here in Indy. You guys helped put on the NBA All-Star Game last year and very recently the WNBA All-Star Game. Talk about what it was like to host those events and how those large events have such a positive impact on the wider community outside of sport.
Yeah, so with those All-Star Games, really great opportunities to really collaborate. Pacer Sports and Entertainment were the ones that took the lead on those, but we really helped out in a lot of different ways. We had a lot of different leadership roles within the host committee. And those events are really great for a number of reasons, and it's really the mission of Indiana Sports Corp in a lot of ways. First of all, those events bring direct economic impact into the city. think about all the visitors, the hotel rooms, all those people that come in for NBA All-Star, WNBA All-Star. Those people are, going to restaurants. And so they're all the taxes and things like that. So there's a direct economic impact there. As a PR and comms professional, as a media person, the thing I like to focus on a lot is that media impact.
Yeah.
I mean, like, all eyes have been on the city so many times just in the last 2 years since I started working here, and you think about even before that, when we worked together here at the Horizon League, like we helped with the CFP, the College Football Playoff National Championship. So you think about like all the media members that are coming through and the national broadcasts and things like that. So the amount of eyes that are on the city that you get to tell this really amazing story about all the great things that happen in Indianapolis. That's another one. And then the third one for me is just we create a lot of these impact programs and community initiatives around these events. And that's really the biggest driver when we try to do and impact the city through sports and the state. That's really the biggest one. A couple examples of that during WNBA All-Star, we worked with an organization called Hoop Bus, and they did a court renovation at Willard Park, which is like 10, 15 minutes from here.
Yeah.
Things like that. During swim trials, we did a swim and safety program. The goal of that was to get 50,000 Hoosiers to become water safe by the end of 2024 in conjunction with the swim trials. And that's really fun because we know that swimming can save your life, and you're like 98, 99% likely to pass down those skills to the next generation. So for like 2 generations after, we know that we're going to be able to keep Hoosiers water safe from any sort of drowning. And so that's a really cool thing that happens with those large scale events.
Yeah. And there have been a lot in the city, as you mentioned, even in the 2 years since you've been over there. So maybe talk about a few of those outside of the All-Star game. You mentioned swim trials. I know you personally worked a lot on the WWE partnership. So talk a little bit more about those.
Swim trials was a lot of fun. I came in kind of in the middle of that one, having started in 23. I think the official announcement of that maybe came in 2022. That was a huge event for us. That was the first time that the swim trials had been held inside of an NFL stadium at Lucas Oil Stadium. So once again, something that Indianapolis hangs its hat on is just innovation and doing things differently. And doing that inside of an NFL stadium. There's 2.5 Olympic-sized swimming pools, all from one fire hydrant filled. Like, I can go on and on about the swim trials, but so much fun. There's so many stories to tell. I mean, we made a replica Eiffel Tower that sat in the middle of downtown because it was connected to the Paris Olympics. So we got to do a lot of storytelling around that, trying to push the boundaries. I mean, the history and the tradition of swimming here in the state of Indiana is really a story that I don't think a lot of people, when you talk about basketball a lot in the state, it's always going to be basketball, justifiably so. But then you think about with swimming and like Carmel High School and the incredible history that they have there and things like that. Like we had Lily King, amazing athlete, things like that. So when you think about the history of swimming in Indiana, we got to tell these really amazing stories around trials. And we just announced that the 2028 swimming trials are coming back. Which is really cool because the Olympics in 2028 will be in LA. So to have that once again to come through Indianapolis, to do it again at Lucas Oil Stadium where we had so much success, and really get to learn on it. That was such a learning experience for both us and USA Swimming and the city and everything like that. So to be able to get to do that again is going to be a lot of fun. You mentioned WWE, as you know, and a lot of my friends know. I'm a huge professional wrestling fan, so this one was a big one for me. I got to do a little bit different on that one. They let me be the event director. We refer to that as event director. It's really the lead for it. So I was the head for our local organizing committee. It was really interesting. And it was really great. We have a first of its kind partnership with WWE where we're bringing their 3 largest stadium shows to Indianapolis. We just did the Royal Rumble in 2025, and we'll be hosting a future SummerSlam and WrestleMania. It's the first time WWE has worked with a city to plan those events like in the future. Like sometimes they will come in and they'll do it. They've done it multiple times and things like that. They're going to bring WrestleMania back to Las Vegas, but that wasn't previously announced. Like we have these and we know to plan on them. So when we were doing Royal Rumble, we really focused on like, hey, this is kind of like the doorway into this. Like if you're a lapsed WWE fan, or if you're a current WWE fan, if you don't really know the product, this is really a great way to step into it because we know these events are going to come in future years, which is really exciting. And it was the biggest Royal Rumble that they've ever had, 70,000 people. in Lucas Oil Stadium. We held some really awesome events around it. We had SmackDown at Gamebridge on Friday the night before and things like that. So it was really great. And I think a lot of people saw the power and the impact of what those events could be, and really excited for them to come back in the future.
It's awesome. We just kind of got through WNBA All-Star, but this is Indianapolis, so there's never much of a gap before the next big event or events. One that a lot of people in our office are helping with is the 2026 Men's Final Four, which includes some other basketball around the same time as well. So talk a little bit about how you all are kind of preparing for that.
Yeah, 2026 is truly going to be a celebration of basketball. And to your point, hosting a Final Four is a huge undertaking for really any city in and of itself. But as I mentioned before, Indy doesn't do anything small. They want to innovate. They want to do something big. So for the first time ever, we'll also be hosting the national championship games for Division II and Division III, while also hosting the semifinals and the championship for NIT. It's the first time that all 4 of those championships will be done in the same city over the same time. Over the same weekend. And it's just a really exciting opportunity to just celebrate basketball. I can't think of a better state to do it. Obviously, we've hosted a lot of conference championships. Rising has their championship here. This year, we did Big Ten men's and women's tournaments. We'll have the Big Ten women's tournament again next year, and then 27 we'll do the men's tournament. But such an incredible opportunity to do this and really celebrate Indianapolis. If you think about it, you and I were both there in the trenches in 2021, and Sports Corp had a huge hand in that. But the bubble year, where we held every single game of that men's basketball championship was held in Central Indiana, with a lot of those games in Lucas Oil Stadium. But Purdue, IU, Butler, the Coliseum hosted games, Gamebridge Fieldhouse hosted games. So like a real celebration of that. It is so hard to think about all that went into that. And if you look back at we lost one game out of all of those things. I think you and I were in the stadium when we learned about that, actually.
We were.
So just an incredible opportunity to celebrate that. But if you think about that, the last time Indianapolis held a Final Four was in 2015 before that, which I will say, because of the Horizon League being one of I was actually there for that one. I was working at Oakland, and they were Billy Potter was asking for people to help out, so I was able to help out with that one. So I've helped out in 2015, in 2021, and now I'll be able to help out in 2026. All in very different roles with very different organizations, which is kind of cool in a lot of ways. But it's a real celebration point. But like that Final Four, if you think about where the Final Four was in 2015 to where it is in 2026, it's going to be, has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a lot of learning. It's going to be a lot of new things that we haven't done before. But with the NCAA office being here, we have this really great relationship with them and can work with folks and really make this the biggest celebration of basketball that anyone's ever seen.
Very exciting stuff. What other major events are coming up that people around Indy should make sure they have on their calendars?
Well, just to continue on that basketball theme, we have the women's Final Four coming up in 28, and then we actually do have the men's Final Four again in 2029. So that's super exciting. Just talked about swim trials in 28. We have the Big Ten football championship. Mm-hmm. That's here through 2028 at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's never been anywhere else. It's always been here in Indianapolis. We have a lot of pride in that, and we really can't think of a better place to host it than Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. I mean, we're right in the heart of Big Ten country. Even with the West Coast schools, we're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into conference realignment at all here, even though with my ties with UCLA, but. Just so many big events coming. Talked about Big Ten men's and women's basketball tournaments as well. So there's so many big events coming all the time. We're talking about more and more. We're going to start talking about events and things are pushing into 2030, which is crazy to think about here. But just so many huge opportunities, and really the array of sports that you think about it. It is really exciting and a lot of fun.
You mentioned earlier kind of one of the things that makes Indy unique and special is our volunteer base. How do people get involved if, they're interested in these events and they want to help out? How can they go about that?
Yeah, this is a total plug moment, so I appreciate that. Indianasportscorp.org/volunteers is the best place to go. There's so many different opportunities to get involved. If you just look at WNBA All-Star or really any of these events, inside the arena, outside the arena, at some of these ancillary events. And when you think about like men's Final Four, there's going to be a music fest, there's going to be a fan fest, there's going to be a dribble, there's going to be all these amazing things that we need those volunteers, because they're really the front lines. And we talk about all the time when we bid on these events with rights holders, whether that is the NCAA, WWE, any of these people that we talked about. It was just like the volunteers and the people here in Indiana are really the secret sauce. They are the front lines. They are so helpful. Hoosier hospitality is something that's talked about a lot. And it may not mean people when they hear it all the time, but for me, who's not originally from here, and you and I have talked about this before, it's a real thing.
It is.
It's absolutely 100% a real thing. So those volunteers are so important to be the front lines and to give everyone a wonderful experience. When we were here at the conference office, you all talk about all the time about like student athlete experience. We talk about the fan experience, the student athlete experience, the team experience all the time. And that fan experience, those volunteers are really the front lines. They're talking about hotels, and you're talking about restaurants, and you're talking about, we have street teams. We work with Butler on street teams and things like that, just to go around and help people that may be coming to the city for the first time. Whether you've been here for every single Big Ten football championship since 2011, or you're coming for the first time, we want to give you that amazing experience. And the volunteers are really the ones that do that.
For sure. Speaking of Indianapolis, I know you know this because you were around and we did the brand recharge, so you're familiar with the monikers, but we talk about major cities a lot. And to me, and I'm sure you agree, Indianapolis very much embodies that. So talk about why you feel like Indianapolis is such a major city.
I mean, really, Indianapolis and all the cities that are in the Horizon League, I am passionate about this because it was something that I think we talked about a lot when we worked here as well. But there's just so much going on in the city at all times. These are where big events happen, but it's not just events. It's where opportunities happen. It's where businesses big and small come all the time. This is where innovation happens all the time. You think about like IU Indy, the best example just down the road here. But just the opportunities that those students get to have every single day with these events and the programs. And you and I have worked with the professors over there to give those students opportunities. But I wouldn't be where I was today without internships and opportunities and stuff like that. So to give the Horizon League student athletes all these different opportunities because they're here in big cities, because there are different things, there is innovation going on at all times, is really cool. And then you think about, I was thinking about this when I was walking over here. In 26, we're hosting the Final Four, but in 27, it's going to Detroit. So like Oakland and Detroit Mercy student athletes are going to have the same experiences that the IU Indy student athletes are going to have just a year later and to work on those events and things like that. So it's really cool the amount of opportunities that happen in these major cities, Indianapolis being one of them. But if you go through the line of all the cities in the Horizon League, like Milwaukee's hosted first and second rounds, Pittsburgh's hosted first and second rounds, like all these really cool, amazing things happen. Cleveland has hosted them, Cincinnati. Like it's just really cool. And you think about just the different things as the students in the Horizon League and the student athletes in the Horizon League are able to do and accomplish. You know, if you just say yes and you open up your mind and you're able to just take those opportunities and run with them as much as possible.
For sure. You mentioned the experiences of our student athletes. So I want to ask you, how do you feel your time spent as a student athlete helped prepare you for now your professional career, still working in athletics?
Yeah. No, it's funny because I'm old and way out of shape. I really much still identify. My identity is really kind of baked in as a student athlete and always has been. You know, you talk about like the time management and the structure and all that, and that's 100% true. Like I literally don't know what would I do with my days if I didn't have like 3-hour practice and then workouts and then build in the class time and things like that. But also like the teamwork aspect of it, like going towards a shared goal, but like individual goals at the same time. Like you want to accomplish something and be proud of it, but also while making sure that those goals are aligned with team goals. And like you do that literally every single day. Like no matter where you work, and I've been able to work at very cool places and do really fun things, but like no matter where you work, like you're going to be wanting to push yourself both individually, but also push yourself as a team. And I can't think of a better place to do that than literally doing that as a team, practicing those things every single day and with those group dynamics. Baseball specifically, I think about both the individual work you have to do, with your swing and fly balls is for me as an outfielder, but then like the team aspects of like cuts and relays and things like that. Like it all takes teamwork, it all takes communication. And I just can't think of a better way to do that. And then also just the power of sports, as we just talked about, is just a lot of fun and things like that. So both seeing that from a student athlete side, how you can get so excited, from a fan side, from working in athletics departments and conferences and things like that, just how much fun it could be. So it's fully much ingrained as me as a student athlete, all the things that you get to do every single day. And you're around an incredible fraternity and sorority of people that go through those experiences as well, which is really fun.
Absolutely. You mentioned it's been a few years since you wrapped up your
Rachel, you're so
career.
nice. You're so nice to me. I honestly do appreciate it. Thank you.
So looking back now, what advice would you have for current student athletes now that you've kind of had a career to then sort of reflect back on your time there?
Yeah. My best advice is just to kind of what we talked about with the major city is like, you have so many incredible opportunities, like never say no. I would give that advice to almost anyone.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm sitting in this role is because like my sports information director at the time like came on a trip and I got the courage to talk to him because I was a journalism student and I looked around the room and I was just like, oh man, I am not going to be a columnist when I grow up and I'm not going to be a talking head on ESPN when I grow up. So I better find another path. And I was able to talk to them and I did my internship in the SID office at Oakland. And that's what led me directly to my first job. And that through line continues to this day. So you just have these incredible opportunities. And the other thing I will say is just try to enjoy it as much as possible. If I could go back and do those, I redshirted, so I get to say 5 years without being weird, like I failed a class or something like that. But those 5 years are some of the most fun and enjoyable, both on and off the field and things like that. So try to enjoy it. It's so hard to do because you're so focused on class and you're focused on practice and you're focused on being in the weight room and doing all these things. But like some of the most fun I've ever had has been with my friends out on the field. I know that's something I try to do my senior year is really enjoy it as much as possible. So just say yes to all the opportunities that you can and just really try to enjoy the time that you have of being a student athlete. Not to get too sentimental, but the time comes for all athletes. So enjoy it while you can.
Perfect. All right, we just have one last question for you.
Oh, snap.
We like to end all of ours with a little start, bench, cut.
Okay.
So we'll give you 3 options and you kind of put them in those positions.
Okay.
So this is kind of about people come to the city, the weather's nice, you have kind of different options to get around the city. So we're going to give you 3 start, bench, cut. Using your car, so driving, biking, or walking.
How far are we going here?
However far you wanna go. Let's say they're coming downtown for something, like a major event that we're having in our major city.
Yeah. I love the bike share program that we have here in the city. Pacers Bike Share does an amazing job with that. There are free bikes all around the city during like NBA All-Star and WNBA All-Star. NBA All-Star a little bit more difficult being in February with the snow. Yeah. So from that standpoint, but for WNBA All-Star, bikes was awesome. We have so many great trails and things like that, like the cultural trail and things like that. So like probably like bike is going to be my number one. But like walking, like so the one thing about Indianapolis that we always talked about, connected tunnel system, like and walkway system. I went to Fever Fest during WNBA, and I was able to park from our office, which is connected to the convention center, and basically walk all the way to the Everwise Amphitheater and never go outside. I got to make it all the way to the JW.
That is handy in February.
So super helpful in February as well. So like I guess walking is my bench. But like, and then like driving, obviously downtown, incredible parking situations. There's a lot of great parking. Downtown Indy Inc. does a great job and has great maps. Vicinity does a great job with that. But be able to walk and experience everything and to bike all the things that we have downtown, those would be, I guess, those two. So I guess we're cutting driving.
I feel like think that's acceptable. You kind of see more, you can experience more of the cool things in the city, not in your car.
I'm in the burbs, so I do have to drive
Yeah,
though.
driving
So it's
to get
weird.
downtown is sort of necessary, but
so
after
that's where
that,
it's hard for
car.
me. Yeah.
Park the car
And
then
walk.
get out.
You have these incredible opportunities to
Yeah.
walk around. You don't have to go outside in the colder weather, but when you do in the summertime. Also, like the incredible art pieces that are up during that. We did an art program during swim trials. They've done that for WNBA. That's actually the saddest part of like after the event is when that public art comes down, because I was just like, oh, can't we just keep that up more often? But I was just like, wait, we have another event
We'll
coming
have
up.
more.
We'll have more.
New
We'll have more. We get to engage new artists and local artists and things like that. We did some cool things around WWE as well. So like, it's sad to see it come down, but then it's just like, I know more is going to come up and really make the city special. So yeah, we'll go with those two.
Perfect. Always on to the next event here in Indy. There's always one coming right around the corner. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Golden Hour. I'm Rachel White here with
Dan Gliot.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Golden Hour. Be sure to follow @Horizon League on social media for the latest updates. Are you hungry? Cluster Truck is Indy's go-to delivery and pickup kitchen. With always free delivery and over 100 menu items, there is something to satisfy everyone's craving. Hand-stretched pizzas, pad thai, tacos, salads, wraps, burritos, and more, delivered directly to your curb. Delivering to Fountain Square, downtown Indy, Carmel, Castleton, Broad Ripple, Fishers, and more. Use code HLRadio at checkout to receive $5 off your next order of $20 or more. Order now at clustertruck.com.